All right, this is Guardian's Legacy for week 8. We are managing to start getting a lot of our systems in and start working on getting a lot of the nicer functionality for Slice of Life stuff, but we're still working through trying to get some of our main stuff because we're trying to now get our implementation on animations and a few other things. We put some stuff on the backlog that we're going to have to look at for later and keep in mind now, so I'm doing some research into that. Everyone's doing their work, and we're just trying to get through this sprint. Everything got pushed back, so now we have an extra break week in between this and our next milestone. So our week 3 is essentially not next week, but the week after. So we get technically 4 extra hours, but it pulls a week on our final production in our milestone 5, so we're looking into that and how that's going to change stuff. Right now we planned light for that, so there's not really any risks in that. Other than that, it's just going to be a bunch of process changes to make sure that we get everything done in our pipeline, such as estimating in the right places and our documentation, and making sure everyone's signing in and out of class and being held responsible for the work that they do. Other than that, I'm going to let the team talk about what they did this week and what's going on.
Hello, I'm Harley. I'm the animator of right now. We ran into some bad things with the animations, but they are getting fixed, and they should be fixed by next time. So,
Zachary Patton, texture artist. This time around, I spent a lot of time improving the castle walls texture before it crashed, and then I had to just try to figure out a much faster way, much more efficient way of getting it done, which I did. And after that, I went on to model the world tree model that we've got right now and unwrap it. So next time around, I'll be taking a break from the bigger models for the sake of my sanity and doing a bunch of the smaller models to pass some time for the texturing.
Brendan Lima, artist. I'm working on more assets from the asset list. Finished up the castle table with the cloth and the path fence for the forest, and get those fully unwrapped for Zach for texturing.
I'm Connor Bish, designer. I worked on mapping out the cavern area. I looked up how to do God rays with HDRP, and with the help of Chris Kuhn and Devin Garrett, I tried to fix the character physics.
I'm Austin Meadowcroft, designer. I've been doing some gray boxing. I finished the mock-ups for the main menu, and I was working on the getting all the animations in.
Peter Tibble's lead designer this week was white boxing for the castle scene, and also finishing up some overworld level design.
Travis Bodian, programmer. I've just been continuing working on combats. I finally got stances back in, as well as getting some things like the stunning and other aspects in.
Brandon Palmasol, programmer. I've been working on our inventory systems. Built a backbone for store inventories and enemy inventories. I now need to add scripts so that stores can function when we have everything else that we need to put in for those in, and then scripts so that enemies can drop items. And then I want to update our currently existent inventory systems to work with the new backbones that I have put in.
Alex Skipper, designer. This week I spent time fleshing out and populating the world with a few more characters, and worked a little bit more on the storyboard for the intro cutscene.
Nathan Scott, lead programmer. Worked on centralizing where our player stats are stored. We kind of had them stored on multiple versions of the same script across different scenes. We now have that centralized and attached to the game manager. So I spent all afternoon kind of tearing that apart and making sure all those references referenced that one single instance of it. Also spent time talking to Hugh about trying to plan for architecting our quest system that we're going to have a meeting about in the next few weeks. Yeah, and next is actually finishing the preliminary version of the save system, getting it to work with player stats, with the inventory, and starting to move forward on creating unique identifiers for items and objects and quests and NPCs and stuff like that.
Overall, we got a lot of things coming up that are big in the next few weeks, such as redoing all of our animations and our movement system. We might have some problems with that, but we're looking into trying to fix that, get everything cleaned up and correct. And if it doesn't quite work out, we're going to have to change over from root motion over into scripting the motion itself, which is undesirable, but we'll see what happens. We're looking into the minimum amount of work version of that. Along with that, we're going to start looking at actually scripting out our quests and stuff. We're working on our puzzles and how we solve them and everything, and actually creating content. So we're starting to get the game portion of our game together instead of just the mechanics, and being able to functionally do everything in a test scene. So we're getting that together. Along with that, we're making headway on actually trying to make this into a game and get our fun factor all tied up together within that. So we're getting everything together. It's just going to take a while, and we're working through the brunt of it, but we're getting to that tip over point where things are going to start rolling over for us, as long as we stay stringent on our schedule and we keep moving at the pace that we are. Overall, that's everything. That's the end of Guardians Legacy for week 8.